Man, let me tell you something. If you want a build that is easy as hell to play, has good DPS, is easy to gear, is viable in like 90% of endgame content, and has some of the largest amounts of cleave in the game, then you've come to the right place. I'm about to put you on game with the Radiance version of the Power DPS Dragonhunter. The Power Dragonhunter is an old favorite of the community. This build is especially useful for players with limited expansions since it only requires Heart of Thorns, and due to its extremely large amounts of cleave, built-in utility, and bursty playstyle, it works well in open world, all tier levels of Fractals, including the Power Preferred Challenge modes, and raid fights where power damage and cleaving adds is desired, like Cube Construct or Conjured Amalgamate. Additionally, this build is not being touched at all by the January 30th balance patch, so if you learn it now, it's going to be good for a while. There are two variants to this build, Radiance and Virtues, which have different gear and special requirements to get their maximum damage. For the Radiance version, you need Resolution, and Virtues, you need Aegis. Despite Virtues having a much larger bench on the golem, since Aegis can be stripped by any little thing, I personally recommend that you run with the Radiance variant due to the ability to provide it to yourself from skill 4 on Greatsword, or by giving yourself Light Aura by using Greatsword 3 in your symbols, or by using your heal skill. Having Resolution gives you 25% crit chance from the trait Righteous Instincts, and a 10% damage increase from the trait Retribution. Additionally, if you have a heal firebrand in your party, which most fractal groups do have, they will also provide you a ton of resolution with their heal skill, Mantra of Solace. So let's get into it. The recommended gear is full Dragon's gear with 1 Berserker ring and 1 Berserker accessory. The reason we are running Dragons is because the Guardian overcaps on crit. So instead of the stats going to waste, we run Dragons for the extra vitality. These stats are kind of a pain to craft and gear, so if you have full exotic or ascended Berserker equipment, that will work as well. You're going to have Scholar Runes and Relic of the Dragonhunter. The weapons are going to be Greatsword and Longbow with Force and Impact sigils on the Greatsword and Force and Air sigils on the Longbow. Your food is going to be cilantro lime sous vide steak or sweet and spicy butternut squash with potent superior sharpening stones. For the build, we are going to be running Radiance 333, which gives you a bunch of damage based on having Retribution, Zeal 223, which buffs you and your symbols with flat damage modifiers, and Dragonhunter 123, where the key is your Grandmaster trait, that is Big Game Hunter, which gives you a 20% damage increase while you are tethered to a target. It is important not to double cast your F1 while you're doing your rotation, unless you need it for CC right before a phase. Your skills in general are going to be Litany of Wrath, which heals you based on your outgoing DPS, Bane Signet for a flat damage increase, Sword of Justice, and Procession of Blades, with your elite being Dragon's Maw. Sword of Justice is your flex skill, so don't be afraid to swap it out for Stand Your Ground or Advance if your party needs it. The general playstyle of this build is to stack up all your damage modifiers by granting yourself Resolution, standing in a symbol, using your F1, and then blowing all of your high damage skills repeatedly. That's similar how SOULBEAST works, which if you're looking for a great fractal build that isn't a Guardian, feel free to check out my video on the Power SOULBEAST. The link will be in the description. Since some of you want the actual skill rotation instead of just skill priorities and general combos, I'll give you both, and I'll start with the rotation, and then general rules to follow afterwards. For the actual rotation, you will start with Longbow and then open up with Procession of Blades, your trap, your Sword of Justice, and your F1, followed by Longbow 4, Longbow 2, and Longbow 5 before weapon swapping over to your Greatsword. You then use your Greatsword 4, which is your symbol, your Greatsword 2, which is your spin to win, and then your leap skill, your Greatsword 3. This will give you Light Aura, which will help you keep resolution uptime. Greatsword 5, preferably in the hitbox, into your elite skill, Dragon's Maw, then Greatsword 5 to pull, Sword of Justice, and auto attacks while you wait for Greatsword 2 to come off cooldown. Now you want to try to finish your auto attacks as much as you can, and then proceed to Greatsword 4, 3, and 2 before casting F1 and then swapping back to your Longbow. you want to use your longbow skills 4, 3, and 2 in that order, and then auto attacking or using Sword of Justice, your F2 skill, your traps, and then going skill 2 into skill 5 before swapping back over to Greatsword for the same loop of your symbol, your spin to win, and your leap skill. If it isn't obvious already, I don't actually practice the full rotation. What I do follow is the general guidelines that I'm going to set forward for you. It's a lot easier to understand and remember, and if you follow these guidelines, you will get near to the actual benchmark rotation number without having to memorize every single skill order. The general playstyle is to use your F1, your Procession of Blades, which is your trap, your symbol, your Greatsword 2, and then blow the rest of your high damage skills in sequence. If you focus on popping your trap, your F1, your Greatsword symbol before you start your burst, then all of your damage modifiers, including your Relic of the Dragonhunter, will be off, and then you can just do your damage. This is useful when clearing out trash or going through mini bosses, since you won't have the opportunity to really do the full rotation. Before I end the video, I wanted to thank all of my subscribers up to this point and all the people who interact with me in the comments and in game. It is cool to see you guys and play with some of you. If you see me hop into one of your pugs, don't hesitate to send a PM. I'm not a streamer. I have no intention of being a streamer, so it's cool to interact with you guys when we group up in game or through the comments section. And real quick, do you prefer this kind of music or do you prefer the piano that I had in my old videos? Because I'm trying to make the best videos for you guys, so if you prefer the piano, I'll go back to the piano. If you guys like the more hip-hop style music in the background, let me know. Give me a heads up of what you guys want. I'm making this for you. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.